Hi everyone, we are LaChiMoLaLa,
LaChiMoLaLa.
and we are here to recap Run BTS episode 155, finale part 2, which I take exception to that because it's just a break. It's just a comma. They're going to come back. At least that's what Suga said like 4 times, and I'm going to hold him to it. We talked about part 1 last week, and part 2 I actually thought was even more fun since they got to do some of the games that we all know and love.
So basically, they started. Well, it's a continuation of where we left off on the confirmation of Jin's shoulders. And so it is 48 centimeters. So yeah, that was
Jimin knew right away.
I
Right
don't know.
away.
I was like, how do you remember that? You know?
I feel like you remember stuff that you wish you had.
Oh,
What? He's tiny. He's cute. He's
yeah.
a little pocket emoji.
Well,
But Jin has enormous shoulders. I'm surprised everyone didn't remember.
I wonder if he's a great swimmer because normally people like people who have broad shoulders are great swimmers. Why can I not talk today? Great swimmers.
Start over. Do that whole sentence again.
I know. Oops. Yeah, normally people who have broad shoulders are great swimmers, and one prime example would be Michael Phelps.
That's true. But Jin doesn't have Michael Phelps shoulders.
Yeah,
I feel like he just has large shoulders for that group. I'm not necessarily sure he has like the world's largest shoulders. It's just in that group he has huge shoulders.
Yeah, that's true. As I compare him to Michael Phelps.
I know. I was like, I don't know about that.
But Jin is a superstar anyways.
Yeah.
In his own right.
In his own right, in his own way. But they were playing games again, right? What other games were they playing in the beginning? I don't remember.
So it basically the producer was asking questions about like various episodes.
That's right. And they had the compilation list.
Mm-hmm.
And who snapped their clipboard? Was that Jimin? Who sat on their clipboard and it broke in half?
Oh gosh, I don't remember that part.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I'm pretty sure it was Jimin because it was hilarious because I thought his chair broke because chairs hate Jimin.
Oh yeah.
But he actually sat on his clipboard. He was, he got up, he was excited, and then he sat on his clipboard and it snapped.
How the heck did I miss that?
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And everybody pointed at him. They're like, oh. Like, I think everyone thought his chair broke because chairs hate Jimin. It was so cute.
Or is it the other way around?
Maybe.
Because I always find him on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
Falling off a chair on the floor laughing.
Floors love Jimin.
Yeah. So surprisingly, we didn't see him on the floor this time.
No, we didn't. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. So
I would feel like Run BTS without that.
I know, exactly. Yeah, so the producer asked like a bunch of questions and they were all enthusiastic as usual, like just raising their hands like crazy. V got a lot of questions right.
He has a really good memory. He's proven that time and time again. Like, he's good at the memory ones.
Yeah, that's really crazy. And even J-Hope asked, like, how do you remember all of this?
J-Hope is the worst at the memory ones.
Yes.
And you noticed? I think he just lives so much in the moment that once the moment's over, he's always like, that's why he watches Run BTS. He's always like, whoa, did we do that? Like, he doesn't even remember.
I get you, J-Hope. I'm the same way. I don't remember what I ate yesterday. YOLO. Live in the moment, but that's totally not the acronym for it.
I feel like RM was getting a bunch right too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he usually does
because it's RM.
And J-Hope and Jimin are usually getting the least right.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah, so then after the producer asked them a bunch of questions, then we moved on to was it the manito part?
Yeah, the pictures.
The pictures.
Yes.
And, oh my goodness. Okay, so they're still hilarious. All of them.
I love that they kept the same teams as the original episode.
Yeah, I noticed that too. So I was like, oh, okay. RM though, wow, what a major improvement. And I loved every single snapshot of
It was
him.
so good. So funny.
Yeah, so I loved his dimple one because he pointed to his dimple, and then the fear one, and then like the shocked one. Okay, the surprise one is probably my favorite, but they're all pretty animated.
Did you see how he was practicing before with the team that went before?
Yes.
Like he was determined. He was like, I am going to crush this. Watch me.
I know. And he did that a couple times actually. Just jumping at the same time with J-Hope.
Mm-hmm.
J-Hope and
J-Hope and Jungkook, right? JK?
Yeah, J-Hope and Jungkook. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's like, I was gonna say V. I'm like, no, that's not right. It's the 95s together.
And I feel like JK was really good in the first time they did this, but this time he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. I was like, he's slipping.
He's slipping. I mean, his face always made it into the camera, so he still got that down.
But he wound up winning the challenge with RM, right?
Did he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Wow. The first couple of shots, like I think he missed like the bizarre one a couple of times, or not a couple of times, but he missed it like the first time, and J-Hope was like, "That's not a bizarre face,"
Calling him out right away.
Yeah, as usual. And so, but the favorite one that I loved was actually Jin and Suga. They're still, of course,
just like the first time. They were horrible. How can you be that bad? It's literally just jumping. But and I love how Sugar was like, you guys have to be quiet. We can't hear it. They were like, we were quiet.
It's like, let me focus on this. Okay. And I got to say though, like, the thumbnail, like when we clicked on the episode today, when I saw that little picture of Suga in the corner with his hands up like that, I was like, oh man, that has to be like some sort of like photo challenge, and lo and behold, look what happened.
It kind of seems unfair to put him with Jin. That's like the tallest guy and the shortest guy having to do it together, and the cameras are just at one level, right?
Yeah,
like Suga had to jump twice as hard.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like then RM's like, look at the shutter. Just look at the shutter. He was like giving like advice. Yeah, but no, did not sing through. Yeah,
and actually Jimin and V did pretty bad too.
Yeah, they all did pretty bad except
they mostly did bad. Yeah. I guess it's harder than it looks. I know we're talking a lot of crap right now, but it's probably actually really difficult.
I mean, honestly, I think I would fall into the Jin and Suga category, like for sure. Like I am terrible at those things, like don't even get me started. So
well, I definitely need a trampoline to get as high as Jin. I'm short.
Hey, as long as you reach that shutter area, then you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, so then and I love, as usual, classic Run BTS, where they do these challenges and they get to pick their food, like the winner gets to pick their food, and
the best prize is food. That's all BTS ever wants. Dinner.
Yeah, which is like cheap date.
I know, right?
You just feed them food and they'll be so happy. They're so grateful about it too. But even then, like they win food, or they get to pick and choose like their main dishes or sides or whatnot. But even then, like even to get like a soda, like they even had to play rock, paper, scissors, I
know, right? For every little bit, everything.
Yeah, so it just doesn't stop from there.
But I loved how when they were picking food, like V would ask what they wanted and then pick something else.
Yeah.
He'd be like, what do we need? What do we want? Okay, I'll take this. It's like, no, that's not what we said.
And Jimin, like I know we touched on this like last week, but Jimin like is seriously like the baby. I feel like he's the baby sometimes. And Jimin, he asked Jungkook like, hey, get the sauce. He's like, you want the sauce? The sauce, and he gets like whatever he wants to,
Yeah.
So it's
so
like
cute. And they were lucky that J-Hope eventually picked spoons. How are they going to eat? Like they were like making a stew at one point. They got stew, but no spoons. And he was like, I don't want to eat with my hands. I'm going to take the spoon set. It's like, good idea.
And that is so sad that they have to pay for like
Cutlery.
utensils. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. Okay.
Hilarious. So good.
Yeah.
So the next game was I'm drawing a blank.
Butts.
Oh, that's right. The debate. The water cannon debate, which we've said multiple times on the show that anything with BTS and water is hilarious. Like drop dead hilarious. We want it. We always want it.
Yeah.
So it was so funny. And RM, did you hear him? He was kind of complaining at the beginning. He was like, "You're just picking the words. We don't get to pick the words." Like,
yes.
Like you're just picking them at random. It'll probably be terrible. And then no, it was not.
Yeah.
And they got to pick their own gun, which they didn't realize. Much to V's surprise.
I know, right? Yeah, but yeah, the whole conversation was hilarious though. Like even though it was like they're trying to not avoid being squirted.
Yeah.
Like the whole conversation, I just sat there and I'm like, wow.
For Run BTS, it was a little double entendre-y. Like it was a little racy for Run BTS.
Yeah.
I thought, in a hilarious way.
Yeah.
I loved everyone's like different. There are different comparisons. I feel like Suga's a really good debater. Like anytime he spoke, people would be like, "Oh, maybe he's right." Like.
Yeah.
And I felt like JK was terrible, and most of the time after he spoke, he'd agree with someone else instead.
Yeah, he changed his answer. I forgot who called him out on it. They're like, JK just changed his answer.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And I loved Jin talking about how you could tell because if you split someone down the middle, and Jimin was instantly like, "Oh, so do we have two noses? Do we? And I was like, geez, he was on him right away.
Yeah, and if you split someone in half, they'll die. I'm like,
yeah.
Dang.
I was like, okay, yeah, but before they die, you'll see that they have two butts.
A left and a right.
Oh, it was so funny. I was dying over that. Like, none of their arguments really made sense. They were all hilarious. Who brought up the peach emoji? Somebody was trying to use the peach emoji as a reason why there was only one butt. And it's
I think that was Suga, actually.
Suga? No. Because he was for two butts. He was for two butts.
Oh, man. No, I wonder who said that.
Somebody, though, was basically, and it's like, you can't pick an emoji. Like, the emoji is not anatomically correct. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was so funny. And then every time RM talked, there were a couple times where he was talking and he was like going by the language. So he was like, if you take the word down to its root, blah, blah, blah. And Jin next to him was just like nobody cares. It was so shady.
Yeah, and J-Hope totally called him out too. He's like, "Can you please use the word but, and not like."
And he was like, "I can't
use the actual word."
He's like, "How can I debate if I can't use the word?" And J-Hope's like, "You can."
Yeah, J-Hope was like a little saucy, like sassy, like this episode.
And I feel like JK only changed his answer when they switched the guns around. Like at one point he had V's gun trained on him and then he suddenly like didn't want to talk anymore.
Yeah. And did you see V didn't even say anything for 40 seconds and then they started squirting him.
And he was like, whoa.
Yeah, and the whole and him being super melodramatic is the actor in him.
That was hilarious. Not once, but twice.
And then and Jimin like totally buying into it. Medic. Was it Jimin?
And Suga did the second time too. It was hilarious. They like really leaned into it. That was so funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, just him like collapsing down and just like pretending to be really shot.
Well, when they showed that water gun shooting the balloons, you were like, geez, there's a lot of force behind that. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't messing around.
Yeah, and I think J-Hope kind of freaked out a little bit too. He's like, is that even safe?
J-Hope's always worried about getting hurt. As he should be.
Yeah.
Literally, his body is how he makes money because he dances so amazing. He can't hurt
Mm,
it. It's a precious
hmm.
commodity.
Yeah.
J-
Yeah. I know. Love.
love. Oh, I also loved right before that challenge started when J-Hope and Suga were having like their old man conversation, where Suga was like, I could never afford one of these when I was a child. They were too expensive. I had the dolphin one. And J-Hope's like, oh yeah, I remember the dolphin one. And I was like, look at these two old men talking about back in the day. It was so hilarious.
Which is not too long ago for them.
No, it's not very long ago at all. I feel like Sugar is literally just waiting. Like he's already an old man and he's just going to be happier the older he gets.
Yeah.
Like he'll have more permission to do the stuff he's already doing.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And
I
he doesn't.
especially love there was one point where he even said, he was like, instead of this is the end of Run BTS. Now we'll do Walk BTS. It'll be a lot slower. And I was like, yes, that's your dream. BTS on a couch.
And again, and that is such an old man comment.
It was just like, what? Walk BTS? What are you talking about?
Oh man. I was like, wait, what?
I think it's when they were eating food. It was so funny. Yeah, it was just like 3,000% Suga. And everyone just looked at him and laughed. They were like, ugh, you'd love that.
I know, seriously. Oh my gosh, she's so silly.
It's so silly.
Yeah, but that whole segment though was like really hilarious. Like the whole butt conversation, like, yeah, it's actually just one, or like, no, there's a left, there's a right. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, wow.
I mean, there were some good arguments. I think Suga was the one who said, go home, look in a mirror, and like squeeze your left butt cheek. If you squeeze that, the right one doesn't necessarily squeeze too, or whatever. He was basically saying like they both did, you could control them on their own. Hence, they were two separate things. And then B was like, but they're attached at one thing at the top. So technically they're one thing that splits a little, but still one thing. I was like, whoa, I've never thought about butts this hard in my whole life.
So how do you feel about butts? Who do you agree
Now
with?
I'm not sure, honestly. I personally still think we have two. I mean, looking at it from a lady point of view, we don't have one boob.
That is true. We do not have one boob.
And boobs are just front butts. So we have two butts. I'm sticking with two butts. I'm riding with Sugar all the way.
Yeah, I'm sticking with two too, because like when you train in the gym, you need to even it out, and some people, train one side more than the other.
Really? Can you have like a big one side bigger than the other?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, that's crazy.
I feel that, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because there's a lot of single leg stability. There we go. I'm like, what am I trying to say? Unilateral. Wow. Unilateral work.
That really backs up my boob theory.
Yeah, see, there you go. So I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, it's funny because like back in high school, I remember this guy, he's an acquaintance, and he worked out, but he only worked out one side of his arm. So when he flexed, this side was flat, this side was huge.
Oh my gosh.
I am gonna apply the same thing to butts.
Okay, in that case, if there's two muscles, they're two different things, right?
I think so.
Two butts. Two butts.
Two butts.
That's our opinion.
Yes.
Two butts.
There you go. We agree with Suga. Logical.
And then after that, they had dinner, right? Where they were cooking and playing the extra games for, like you said, sodas or extra meat or like noodles. They got noodles and stuff. Oh, and I liked how they were intersplicing like their thoughts about taking a rest, taking a pause, like their little one-on-ones.
Yeah.
They do those same things at the end of Bon Voyage every year where everyone like, sorry, my cat's walking here and moving all my stuff. Stop, cat. Stop. She's that big. So it was like at the end of Bon Voyage, they always do that where they talk about like their thoughts about the trip and all that. And I kind of like when they each get a moment to do it, because I feel like then they can say whatever they want. I mean, they can say whatever they want in front of each other too, but like J-Hope's always so sentimental about it. Jimin's always focused on how ARMY feels and how much he loves them and how much he misses them. And V's always just happy that all the guys got to like have fun together, you
Mhm.
know. I find it so cute. I really really love when they get to do that. RM's always like talking something in his head. He's like so philosophical about everything.
Yeah, he totally is. He's like a reincarnated Aristotle. I feel like.
But again, I really loved Sugar's. I loved how he was like, it's a comma, it's a break, it's not the end. Don't be too upset. We'll be back, you know, like, and they do need a break. And I think he even said later, he's like, it's not just for us, this is for the crew. And you're like, yeah. How many people have been chasing JK for 7 years without any time off? Like, I bet you there's so many people who work on that. You've got the camera crew, you've got the writers, you've got the producers, you've got the directors. I mean, the sound guys, like, there must be a ton of people like dedicated to that. And I'm sure they all need a break.
Yeah, 7 years is a long time without a break.
A really long time. Like, I feel like the longest break they've had before was only like 2 months or something. And that was like after season 2. So it hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just such a dedicated bunch, and I just love like how much that they want to be connected like to army, you know, and it's so great. But even though we are a little bit sad.
I mean, I am. I'm not saying I'm not. I am.
Yeah, like we are a little bit sad that they're pausing, but you know it's good for them. And like Jimin said, he's like, you know, I'm glad that this is our decision. You know, it was a joint decision. We all agreed about this, and you know we're happy. You know,
And they'll
so
come back rested and better than ever, you
oh
know.
yeah. I mean,
So
but let's be real though. Are they? You know,
I don't
with
know. They're really busy.
I know with the oh my gosh, with Fila, Louis Vuitton being the face of Seoul, you know, touring. I mean,
Hopefully a new album.
yeah, new album, their music and concerts and like oh my gosh, you know, like they are like the biggest boy band on the planet or the biggest musical group, but they're like super busy. They have like all these other acts, you
And
know.
Suga and RM are like producing other people, writing other people's stuff. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, they're nonstop, nonstop.
yeah, and to have a break with Run BTS only makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so
I also really loved what Jin said in his like little confessional when he was talking about how Run BTS let them really show us their individual personalities, which we said before that I think that's totally true. Like you feel like you understand the guys so much more based on the show because it's very much like just them being every day, you know. They feel more like friends because of how much we've gotten to see them, and you really root for them more, you know, like you're like super invested in them and their well-being, like, you know. And even
yeah.
though they do, and honestly the best things for me are when they're bad at stuff like RM cooking or any of the older line trying to play sports together, like that kind of stuff, you know, Jimin sitting in a chair, that stuff is
Yeah.
so good. Like I really, it's funny, it's I don't want to call them faults because they're not faults, but it's like you
you,
get
you
so used to thinking of them as being able to do everything.
you
Like,
see, yeah, you see the human side of them.
yeah, you get to see their vulnerabilities, and it makes you really connect to them on another level. And I don't know, I just love it so much. Like this show really, I already enjoyed their music, and I thought they were amazing artists, but this show made me like them as people, as
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because sometimes people would say like, "Oh, you know, I like them as an artist, but as a person, they suck." You know?
It's like, well, how do you know? Have you watched Run BTS? They're amazing.
You know, and so I mean, like watching the show, you know, I feel like their fan base, um, by watching the show, like they definitely grew their fan base from the show, you know, because again, you know, like the fans, the army, you know, got to know them on a personal level, you know, like
Mhm.
they invited their lives onto the screen, you know, and it's just it's so nice.
I know. And I also feel like JK's made this point before that like they wouldn't have gotten to do most of this stuff. If you think about it, these type of musical acts usually don't have the opportunity, but because of the show they were able to rent out those places. Like, it had a business purpose as well, and for anyone out there who's ever run their own small business, when you're like, yay, I can write this off on my taxes, I feel like there was like a way for them to do that. They got to do all these amazing things that normally they wouldn't have had access to because of how tightly controlled their that scene is. Really, I mean, I can think of tons of groups who, like, I read an article the other day about a group talking about how they didn't have their cell phones for 2 whole years when they started being trainees. They just weren't allowed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, these guys got to go out and do all this fun, cool stuff. They probably experienced more than they ever thought they would because of the show, which is really cool. So it didn't just benefit us, and it didn't just benefit their business, but like, they got to grow as like human beings and have cool experiences.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, like bungee jumping, and
anytime they go to like a water park thing, like that one where they're falling over, like where they're doing the maze. So good.
I mean, the roller coasters, like they went to Six Flags.
Yeah. They did that giant like hide and seek thing at like that art museum at night or whatever. Like, yeah, they've done all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah. And so, which is like really great, because it's like they're also like promoting too, like small businesses too, you know? So, which is like a great thing. Why not? So speaking of promoting, like, I saw the Canon thing that they were talking about, and I was like,
they didn't even pause. They went right in. RM like didn't miss a beat. He was like,
they're so good at commercials.
Well, they've probably done a bajillion by now. They've probably done as many commercials as they've done episodes of Run BTS.
Yeah. And I was like, that just flowed naturally.
Really good. Really
just
good.
segued into like how I'm printing Canon photos, like how easy it is and how great it looks, And
it was really a 2-man act, because RM had all the facts, but V was the one setting him up. He's like, oh, really? Right now? And JK too. JK was like, are they going to print right away? That fast? Oh my. Like, it was like a triple act of them being like, hey. It was like an infomercial for like,
I know, pretty much. I thought that was so funny. I'm like, product placement right there,
So good.
And I'm sure some people missed it, but it was just really funny, just like watching that. And I'm like, but they're so good at it.
They even make that fun. It's literally advertising, and I was still enjoying and laughing.
Yeah.
I mean, they can make anything fun. It's so cute.
Yeah, I love it.
And I loved when they were cooking dinner. So then they're cooking dinner, right? And they're doing all like the mini games, and everyone keeps losing. And then V gets it right on the first try. And he's like, guys. I mean, it's like, and every time he went up, he got it right. And then like the last time he was going up and he got it right, he was like saying a big speech to them about why he always gets stuff right, and nobody was listening. Everybody was eating, just shoving their faces full of food. They were like, whatever. Like, and he didn't care. He just gave his monologue and was basically like, I'm the best. You all know I'm the best, and I'm going to tell you that I'm the best, right?
Yeah.
And no one objected, so he took that as an agreement. And he was like,
and how about that part of Jimin too? Which, happy birthday, Jimin!
Yes, happy birthday!
Oh, look at that! Yes,
happy birthday to our cutie, sexy, lovely.
Yes, happy birthday. And he was doing like those cute like little faces.
Oh gosh, yes. That like, I forget what I don't forget what they call it. I can't pronounce it. Anyone can write it out phonetically in the comments. We would appreciate it. It's so, when that was one of the games, that was amazing. So amazing. And Jin was so funny when he was arguing with the director, being like, this isn't it, this is different, look how different I am. Like, he was being so extra, and I think he was the first person who did all 3. Even though he's the oldest, he was like, oh, I'll definitely, I can crush that, I'll do that. But Jimin's were really subtle. They were like very minor changes, but all the guys were dying. Did you see how much V was like?
Yes.
V was laughing and like just all about it. He loved it. Oh, he called him out for doing another one at the table. He's like, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right now.
Yeah, that was like super, super cute. I'm like, how the heck? Of course. He's good at that stuff, like doing those facial, being super cute.
Yeah.
You know?
Adorable. He totally was like, I'll show you a master class. Get ready, guys.
I know. Oh my gosh.
He was like, I know how to do this. Give me a moment.
Seriously.
And honestly, speaking of Jin, I was laughing. He was kind of being a baby this episode too. Like, he kept demanding that JK give him meat over and over again. He was like, Kogi, Kogi, Kogi. And I was like, and JK was standing. So I was like, but he wasn't at the grill. So I was like, is the plate of meat right in front of him? Is that why? But it was just nonstop Jin demanding that JK feed him. And then when JK made the ramen, he like put out his bowl and bowed his head like he was like Oliver Twist. He was like, please sir, can I have some ramen? It was so hilarious. I find their relationship so funny because sometimes Jin's the youngest, and JK's the oldest, and it's just like
yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, you know, like sometimes it's just flipped around, you know, and so I'm like, huh, okay.
It was so cute. I was dying. I thought it was so funny, and JK was like not annoyed at all. If it had been me, I would have been annoyed.
Yeah. Well, they also lived together forever.
That's true. I think they're over it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, whatever. He's just being him.
I forget what Run BTS episode it is, but there's one where like they each have like a personal mission they're supposed to do, as well as doing like a group challenge. And JK's personal mission is to make like Jimin tell him to knock it off. But everything he does, Jimin just takes it and accepts it. And he's like hanging on his back and like in his face and like singing in his ear. And Jimin's just like, oh, you're cute. You're cute. And it's like he never accomplished his mission. He was like, I couldn't. Everything I do, he was just like, oh, JK, you're cool. Like, and it was stuff where literally if a child had been doing that, you would have been like, no, stop.
Stop it right now.
But Jimin just has so much patience for him. He's just like, no baby.
Yeah, I feel like they all have so much patience for each other because they live with each other for so long and they know each other like no other, that like one could do something to the other and they'd be like, whatever, you know.
But all that patience is probably just for themselves, you know what I mean? Like no one else is going to get any, but they've earned it, you know, like you said, they've lived together for so long. They've put in all this time and effort and work with each other. Like they always talk about how, or there was one time where like they went on vacation without each other. Like they had a whole month off and none of them were together. And they talked about how weird it was, how they like kept checking in with each other, like via text and stuff, because it was just so weird. They hadn't had like a month where they didn't see each other for like 7 or 8 years. So it was just crazy. I mean, they're literally family.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So weird.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's so sweet though, you know, like
it's super sweet. It's just a very interesting experience the rest of us can't really imagine, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like now I think about it, it'd be really weird if I've never seen my brothers for a whole month because I see them so often, you know. So I could just imagine like the feeling that they went through, but I'm sure it's way worse since, you know.
Since they work together all day and then they live they're literally together 24/7.
Yes. Yeah, so then after they ate, they went back to the poems, right?
Yeah,
that's where they ended the whole entire thing. Well, didn't end the whole entire thing, but that's when everyone.
That's where the comma happened.
Yeah.
I love how they were so inspired by Army's poems too. Like they kept looking at them and referencing them, and like I just love how serious they all. It's so funny. Jin's never serious.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jin was not the serious one.
A lot of the other guys get like really serious about it. Like Jimin always says he's embarrassed because he always writes something super sincere and from the heart. You know, whereas Tae also writes something super sincere and from the heart, but he's not embarrassed. He wants to show it off. That's two very different personalities.
Yes.
But I mean, they both have the same goals. You know what I mean? They just show them in very different ways.
Yeah.
JK's poem was amazing.
Yes. And Suga too. Suga was really good. And of course, I'm like, okay, the writer, you know, like
of course. Yeah, I was thinking him and RM. I was like, rap line should be good at this.
Yes. Yeah, and J-Hope even said like, "Oh, Suga put a lot of thought into this because I saw him tear off 3 pages, you know."
Yeah, crazy.
And I was like,
And J-Hope was
"Wow."
good too. He was like so nervous about it, but he always writes good stuff too. Like,
Mhm.
you know, they're all sentimental a little bit, except for Jim.
Yeah.
But the rest of them were all kind of sweet and sentimental. Even JK's had like, you know, it was funny, but it also had like heart to it.
Yeah,
You know
a
what I
lot
mean?
of hurt. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I like how RM had 2, you know,
Right.
like
And
one.
he was stressed when they showed him writing. He seemed really stressed out, and he somehow did too.
Yeah, he did too. And so he did like a very sincere slash sentimental, heartwarming poem. And then the second one was just like RM, just
Yeah.
funny, you know,
Silly
hilarious.
and sweet.
Yeah. And yeah, I did not expect something sincere from Jin at all. I was
No,
like, okay, y'all, wait for it. He's
it's
gonna
coming.
say,
Dad joke.
yes, he's gonna say some sort of dad joke or something really ridiculous. And he did, of course, such a boy talking about farts, you know, carbon dioxide. Real Hodgin, real
What
hot.
about when Jimin got all angry when he said he was embarrassed and Tay thought that was like his first line? And Jimin was like, stop, I haven't even started. And he was like, give me a second, I'm getting into character. And Tay was like, I'm sorry, I won't say anything else.
He gave him that
Like,
look.
I don't think he meant it to be a dig. He honestly thought that was his first line.
Yeah.
Because it's something he would say. This is so embarrassing. Next line.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, seriously, the guys love to tease him, you know,
Yeah, they do.
like they really do. Even going back to when they were taking the pictures, they totally teased him about his jacket because he had his mic, which is like that little fluffy thing, and then like the 2 what do you call those, drawstrings?
Yeah.
And it had like
it
a
was
little
unfortunate that they all looked like the mic.
They did.
Like they really did. I was like, wow, did no one pick up on that before this?
I guess not, you know. And but Jimin, he always goes with the jokes though. He's like, yep, 5.1 stereo, you know.
Right? He never takes himself too seriously. It's really funny. I love that about him, that he's so easygoing with it.
Yeah.
And even in the first episode, we talked about how JK was like teasing him mercilessly. Like, I think that's another reason why sometimes it feels like Jimin's the baby.
Yeah.
Because even JK will be like teasing him.
All the time. All the time. Yeah. So but yeah, Jimin just takes it. And it's really funny because I forget, it's the bubblegum, some sort of bubblegum interview. I forget the whole title of it, but it was basically like the guys talking about each other. And I remember, I think it was RM that said like, oh, Jimin these days, he's just the funniest guy out of all of us. And you could kind of see that, you know, because like he just makes those random comments, you know, even when he gets teased at, and he just goes with it, and he's just funny.
He's really witty. Like he there's not a lull. If someone makes a crack at him, he picks it up right away and runs with it. You know what I mean? He's really good at reacting to things. And he always reacts in like a funny, self-deprecating way, never like an offended way. Even when he did that thing to V, it was to be funny. You know what I mean? Like he was offended because he knew it would be funny.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that serious. It was, you know, it was all in good fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and that was really sweet, you know, just like hearing them talk about like Army and then talking about like the show that, you know, like it sounded like they're trying to comfort us, like, guys, it's okay, you know, like we're just taking a little breather, we'll be back.
I love the like yearbooks they gave them, those like photo books, which in my head I was like, are those going to be on Weavers?
I know, I had the same thought too.
I kind of hope not. I want them to be just for them, you know what I mean? Like, it seemed really, really sweet that they like took the time to put them all together. Who was it? Was it Sugar who was like, you rarely get printed photos anymore? Again, another old man comment. I was just like, oh my God.
I'm like,
Sugar, you act like this. I mean, you can print photos anytime you want. It's called Snapfish. Like, I don't understand. Like, what are you worrying about? It was just a hilarious old man comment again.
oh,
So
I'm
funny.
like, this guy. I'm like, you're
He's
not
like,
even in
back
your
in my
30s.
day, you
I
would
know.
print photos, but now you just put them on your phone. Wait.
He's not even in his 30s yet.
No.
I'm like, what?
Meanwhile, Jin's making a poem about farting.
I know.
He is in his 30s.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought the books were really, really sweet. And I loved how they all freaked out. They were like, oh, the staff's so sentimental because they left that open space for the product placement.
Yes.
But they took it as them being really sentimental that they were going to get to do, one last photo together before they took their break.
Yeah, and that was such like a really cute idea for them too. I'm sure it melted their hearts too. Like, oh, we're gonna take a picture, like a group photo together, So they look so adorable, like all of them. Yeah,
it was so cute.
Yeah,
and honestly, I forgot to even mention this. JK getting the slippers for their director when they were eating outside. So cute. And I loved how you saw his face. He like looked over there and looked mad and then like went into the house and then came out and then just dropped the slippers and then went back to eat.
Yeah, that was so cute. Like they could have easily just like cut that out, of the whole entire episode. But like stuff like that, they're so candid about, which like I'm really glad that they leave that type of footage in there because again, you see their personality and how they are, and it just like yeah, for a second I'm like, why is he looking over there, and then I started to see the words pop up too, like on there saying like, oh, JK's like going back into the house or something like that.
It's like JKC something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, huh?
But you're right. It does show how caring they are. And it happens in many episodes where they're concerned about the staff for some reason or another. I can't tell you how many times one of them has been like, oh, be careful. Like, because someone's walking backwards with the camera and they're like, oh, you're going to fall. Oh, sidewalk. Oh, like,
Yeah.
Like they really take care of them. They understand that they're being taken care of, but they do the same back. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I forget which episode, like, they were talking about, like, oh, is this coffee for their staff? Like, let's get it for the staff, So
yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah,
or they're always feeding them. Like, if they have dinner, guaranteed they fed some to the staff. They always do.
Yeah, they're so thoughtful.
They're so thoughtful and sweet. Like, I like that they don't pretend like they're doing it all themselves.
Yeah,
they're like, this is not just us. This is like a staff of 40 who are making this happen for us. They're very appreciative and aware.
Yeah. Which again makes them so great, so lovable.
So lovable. Oh my gosh. So am I sad that it's going on hiatus? Hell yes. Am I happy because it seems like they all want it to come back? Hell yes. And like we said before, it's a well-deserved break. Like they have so many things going on right now. And this is a weekly commitment, it just frees up so much time for them, even though they enjoy it, even though we enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's totally understandable. Some of my most favorite things in the world, I need to take a break from now and then.
Oh, yeah.
So, and as I posted on Twitter, this will just give me a chance to watch it all over from the beginning.
Yeah, see, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. So I like the whole entire episode, of course, and you knew it was gonna be a long one too. I mean, it's how can you not, like, because like some episodes would be like 30 minutes, even 40, but I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like almost a full hour, and lo and behold, 56 minutes,
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it was really nice, like you said, that they had like the little interviews, and it was short, sweet, and to the point, like how they really felt about, putting a little comma there, a little break, so
putting a pin in it, but it's temporary,
Yeah.
They seem to enjoy the show so much. They have so much fun with it too, So I definitely don't think it's the end, but they do deserve some time off. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have time off. They're just going to fill it with other stuff.
Yes. I don't know, doing government things.
Yeah. But at least we have In the Soup coming up. So, they're always aware. They're not going to leave us hanging without content. This is BTS.
Yes.
These boys know how to crank out content. So it's not like we're going to be separated from them or feel like we don't get to see them all the time. So, it's sad, but I'm still excited for the next chapter.
Yeah, same here. So now we're gonna segue into In the Soup. So that's gonna be really fun too. So seeing them in the forest doing just random things. I don't know, boxing and fishing and
cooking and playing games and all the things.
All the things that you want to do on vacation. Except fishing. I don't want to fish. But
really?
Yeah, no. I can't do it. I can't see a fish squirm. And
I don't even eat fish and I don't mind doing it. You can always throw them back.
Yeah, but I mean, they're hurt from the hook.
All right, let's not get into a fish debate here. This isn't the place for it. Check out our PETA video later.
I know, seriously. Oh man. All right. So any last thoughts?
Nope. I think I've said it all. And just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. This show really got me through the last 2 years. Like, looking forward to something, having something fun and lighthearted to watch, something where I didn't have to think too hard and I could forget about what was going on in the rest of the world, like really, really helped me. And I just feel like I found the show at the perfect time.
Yeah. And the show is like so good, like you said, like especially now we're still in pandemic, even though some people think that we're out of it. We're still in pandemic. No. But this show is so lighthearted. It's really fun. I love that we get to learn a lot about the Korean culture. I love to learn different cultures and being able for them to share, that part of them too. It's so amazing, and it's like you're constantly learning about different things, that you wouldn't have learned from watching the episode, so I really appreciate them, and I really appreciate the production staff, everyone, that put this show together, because I'm sure it's not an easy feat to do, and like they said, they were really worried about finding content, but honestly, they made it work time and time again. They find like and the episode started off as 20 minutes, like very short, and then it became 30-40 minute episodes. So I don't think that they had to worry about content at that point, like they had like that little groove going on, so but I am the same as you, like I'm really grateful that I'm able to watch the show and to experience, like, get to know them on a personal level, and like listening to their music, they're amazing as it is, but after watching the show, it makes you just love them a lot more, like
I challenge anyone to watch 2 episodes of the show and not fall in love with them. It's impossible.
And it's impossible not to laugh either.
Yes, it's impossible. Like, they are so charming and so cute and so sweet and so kind, like, and funny.
Yeah, they're hilarious
and really funny. And for everyone who thinks, that they're being put in like these stereotypical boxes, they are not. They are being themselves, and it works.
Yeah, and I love seeing all seven of them have like different personalities, and to see them mesh together and the way, like, how they come together, and it's just really fun, just seeing all their different personalities out there and just getting to know them. So, It's sad, but it's also really great, because they definitely need a break. So, yeah, but I can't wait until they pick it up again.
Yeah, I will definitely be counting the days as soon as they post something on Twitter. I'll be like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
exactly. We'll be like texting each other, oh my gosh. So, well, if you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We will see you guys for in the soup. Because
Next week.
Yeah, next week. And wait, this week, right?
Well, it's on this week, but we probably won't post till next week, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's be real. Yeah, so we will definitely talk about in the soup. So that's gonna be another exciting adventure for us. Yay! So I'll be sure to talk about JK's boxing form. So
look forward to it.
Just kidding, you guys. Just kidding. All right, you guys. So thank you so much. And we are LaChiMoLaLa. And we will see you guys in the soup.
That's right.
Yes.
Annyeong.
Annyeong. Bye, guys.